Good evening. It's December 25th, 2024. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Mr. Jeckovich.
Merry Christmas.
Did you have a wonderful day?
Oh, terrific.
Okay. You're looking well.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Jeckovich, we're reading his book, Their Mother's Sons. We don't miss a day. It's kind of like Mr. Jeckovich when he was in World War II. He didn't miss a day. They just keep on going through day after day, getting the job done. So, we're on page 697 of your book. How many pages you got?
849.
That's a lot of pages. You did well. That's a big book.
I hope it's not torn apart.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of use.
I had five published.
Yeah.
And I never got any of them back.
Well, we'll work on that. We got it right here, and everyone around the world listening to Mr. Jeckovich's 402 podcasts can listen to from the beginning to the end.
All right.
And we read it every night. And many people asked if the book is for sale.
No, it's not for sale.
The book isn't for sale, never will be for sale. It's Mr. Jeckovich's contribution for let people know, the younger people know what it was like. An easier life in the 30s, even though it's a depression, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and his life experiences in the Battle of the Bulge and World War II as a teenager. So that's what the book is about. There's a lot of good parts, there's a lot of happy parts, there's a lot of parts where many of his combat soldiers were completely slaughtered. But it's a good book. You can start Googling Mr. Jeckovich's name, the Bulge Busters, and that's John Jeckovich. You can see there's over 400 different readings, and we don't quit. We're here to the end. It's simple as that. Christmas is not going to slow us down. Mr. Jeckovich, when he was in the Battle of the Bulge, that started in December 16th of 1944. So 80 years from this date, you were in the battle for 9 days already. 9 days. And when Mr. Jeckovich got drafted into World War II, he was in the division of Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. And this was primarily, there were many battles, but their last battle was the Battle of the Bulge. And it was the coldest winter of record. It was 20 below, the wind chill factor was 40 below. And how were you equipped? What kind of clothes?
We weren't equipped at all.
They shoved you in at the last minute because they had no idea that Hitler was handle 600,000 Nazis to try to take Bastogne and 6,000 tanks.
Yeah.
Amazing. So the 101st got caught in the middle and were surrounded by the Nazis. And the Nazis just kept on plugging away. They thought they'd get rid of the 101st real quickly because the 101st Division was caught off guard.
Yeah.
It was 600,000 equipped Nazis and, less than a few hundred of the 101st. Most of them got slaughtered, but Mr. Jeckovich, on the orders of Patton, they loaded up into these trucks, thousands and thousands of trucks at the last minute, and they were like cattle trucks, and they took so many people, so many of these young soldiers in trucks. There's no place to sit. You'd stand up to the bumpy rides because the roads were horrible. Patton told everyone 4 o'clock in the morning, they had no idea, get in the trucks, we're all going, and thousands of trucks worked their way to Bastogne. And then ironically, you're standing up for, 4 or 5 hours, 20, 30 degree below temperatures. And now you're supposed to jump out of the trucks and fight.
Yeah.
You're supposed to jump out of the trucks and fight. Many men were slaughtered. Many men, unfortunately, died of frostbite. Some lost feet, fingers, hands, ears, their nose. Mr. Jeckovich still suffers from frostbite today.
Yeah, it's still right head, right foot, yeah.
Once the weather goes down, his frostbite kicks in. Once the weather goes down, his frostbite kicks in. And while that fight was going on, the Nazis were all puffed up with their own self-worth. They figured we have 600,000 seasoned Nazi fighters here, some of them from the SS, in a paratrooper division. They sent a note in to Bastogne when everyone was surrounded. They say, surrender now, surrender now. And their response was quite blunt, go to hell. But these soldiers were never trained to surrender. It was never, ever in their vocabulary. That would be the last thing they would do. So they took it down to very low numbers of men left, and finally the skies cleared up. And then they start receiving from the United States Air Force, they would start receiving ammunition dropping out of the sky. And then they start receiving medics, 4 or 5 medics, because unfortunately the whole medical crew of 45 medics and a nurse and the injured were all captured. And the Nazis had no patience. They didn't want to babysit. They didn't want to babysit any POW, so they just shot them on sight. Unarmed, just shot them on sight. A lot of the guys later went to the Nuremberg trials, and 64 were sentenced to death by hanging. Death by hanging. So it was a very, very horrible place to be, and there was death and destruction on every corner. You could not get away with it. You just could not find a good day. It was all bad days. But finally, Mr. Jeckovich and thousands of other teenage soldiers pushed the Nazis back into Germany, and most of these Nazis then start surrendering by the thousands. Not by the hundreds. They start surrounding by the thousands. They start surrendering by the thousands. And the hardcore SS wouldn't surrender. The hardcore Nazi paratroopers wouldn't surrender. So you had to continue fighting with them and taking them out. That just was the fact. That was the fact. And so finally the war was winding down. And then Hitler committed suicide. And then Mr. Jeckovich and many of the American soldiers broke the gates on the death camps, which there was many. And it was just things that your mind could not understand, you would see there. And Mr. Jeckovich and many of the soldiers left. There's not many left. The ones in battle, front line, back in World War II, there's probably less than 6,000 left. And we're losing them at a rate of 150 a day. When you start busting the gates down of the death camps, what were you told not to do?
Don't feed them.
And why was that?
Or the system was all screwed up.
Yeah. Big strapping soldiers, 200, 220, are now down to 60, 70, and 80 pounds. Many of them dead. Horrible torture. Horrible torture. For fun, the German soldiers would have the American soldiers, if they could walk, go into the middle of the field and hose them down with fire hoses, 20, 30 below. So these are things that soldiers who are left alive right now, like Mr. Jeckovich, they do not get out of their mind. They see it many times a day, all the time. So you'll never ever forget that. It rents space in your head until the day you leave this earth. Horrible, horrible, horrible conditions. Horrible conditions. And then they brought in the townspeople, because the townspeople in Germany had their heads buried in the sand.
They knew about, but they avoided it. They avoided it. Yeah.
That's correct. They brought in the townspeople to show them what kind of animal.
Oh, we didn't know anything was going on.
Yeah.
It took soldiers all over hell.
Yeah, and they couldn't believe what they seen. They couldn't believe what they seen.
Well, they were Germans too.
Yeah, they couldn't believe what they seen. And today we still have people that never fought a second in a war, younger people, that say it was all a hoax. It was all a hoax. Nothing you can say to those people, those sick people that say that. Something's wrong with them. What can I say? I'm not even going to get into it today. It's Christmas. So
No, they're saying now you were stupid enough to get involved in that stuff. You couldn't get out of it. Well, Clinton go.
well, I'm just saying, if there wasn't people, we call them the greatest generation, and rightfully so. If there wasn't people like Mr. Jeckovich who eagerly went into war and did everything they can to defend their country, the communists would rule in the United States too. There's no doubt in my mind. The United States is free because of people that you see in this camera. Take a look. Take a look. You'd be speaking German now, and every action in your life would be censored. Every action in your life would be censored. These guys gave it all, and most of them perished. The rear echelon, we still have about 70,000 of those left. The rear echelon never made it to the front line. What did the rear echelon do?
When they supported people up front.
It was an important job, but they never seen the front line. During World War II, Mr. Jeckovich was in charge and handled a heavy machine gun, shooting thousands of rounds off every couple minutes. So during World War II, you probably shot 1 million rounds.
Yeah.
Before,
You had to move.
yeah, and they'd shoot and then they'd jump to another location. Before the war, were you experienced with weapons?
No, my father didn't hunt. We didn't have a pistol or rifle in the house.
And you shot about 1 million rounds during World War II. Once you were back stateside, did you ever buy a weapon?
No.
When was the last time you shot a weapon?
During the war.
80 years ago. 80 years ago. When you were a little boy in school, grammar school, did they have American flag?
Oh, yeah.
Every morning did you say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah.
They don't have that now.
What, in the schools?
They don't have it now.
Well,
How about, did you have the 10 Commandments in your school?
no.
No.
You went to Catholic school, yeah.
Okay. But in your public school, you had the American flag in each classroom, and you said the Pledge of Allegiance every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do that now. I don't know, I can still say it's the greatest generation. Mr. Jeckovich grew up during the Depression. He took care of his mother from 11 or 12 years old on, because his father worked so hard, like a slave, 3 jobs, immigrant from Russia, that he died of a heart attack at 43. He would never take nothing he didn't earn. It's just a simple fact. If you don't earn it, you don't take it. How different are we today with these millions of illegal aliens came in?
Yeah.
They got their handout. They got their handout, living better than most working people.
We're veterans.
And then they cause all types of destructions on top of it. What was that comment?
Or they live better than our vets.
They live better than the vets, right? They live much better than the vets. Well,
15
it's
minutes.
Christmas. What's that?
15 minutes.
It's Christmas. We're going to be very polite today. We're not going to use any foul language. We're not going to talk about anything negative. It's all positive because it's a beautiful Christmas. Mr. Jeckovich had a wonderful Christmas. In fact, I think Mr. Jeckovich had 2 or 3 Christmases. He's got a staff of about 7 or 10 that work for him, and he's doing quite well. He's doing quite well.
Who's this?
You. Do you want me to start reading your book, or you want to read it?
No, go ahead.
Well, give me your dog tag number.
42965.
By the way, that dog tag number is his code that opens up the laptop to read his book. Their mother's sons. Their mother's sons. Being that you're the only son that took care of your mother, why'd you make it sons?
That's again.
Being that you're the only son that took care of your mother, why'd you put the plural of sons?
My mother?
You're the only son that took care of your mother, correct?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just put their mother's son instead of sons?
Well, because the other ones weren't involved.
But you named them in there though, right?
Yeah,
They didn't help at all.
no,
They're all in their own little world.
yeah, they're all gone someplace.
All in their own little world.
They do that today too.
More so today. More so today. I like the background you got today, Mr. Jeckovich.
Yeah, that's a nice background, isn't it?
And I like your shirt. You're looking...
Well, Amber's got the same shirt.
Yeah, she's wearing it with you.
Yeah.
You and Amber are two peas in a pod, and you and Amber did a video about 4 or 5 days ago. It was very nice. Amber's right now stuck in traffic in Orlando, and we hope to see her tomorrow. Hope to see her tomorrow. Well, here we go. We're on chapter 23, page 697, Wedding and the Poconos. She only smiled and said she understood and knew how I felt about our relationship. She never doubted my sincerity and candor. She also touched upon meetings and never took them for granted or thought they were commonplace. Instead, she looked forward to our meetings, and they became a great and significant part of her life, which she enjoyed sharing with me. And then she said something profound. It's just that we are coming to a closing of our first and initial phase of our association, and it's difficult to let go, not really knowing what the future will bring us. I met Delphine that Sunday morning, and she was wearing the navy blue jacket and skirt, which I so admired on her. She looked alluring, and the excitement in being here gave me an aura of radiance and gave her an aura of radiance and splendor, and illuminated her very presence. She and her brightness, and I dazzled at the prospect she had chosen me as her mate for life. You look great, I beamed, looking her over from tip of her high heels to a small ribbon she had inserted in her hair. She was not wearing any outer garment despite the temperature was hovering around the 30s, and her trim suit only added to her figure and magnified its symmetry. She carried herself gracefully, and her elegance is displayed in every step she took. I was proud to be by her side and would do anything to sustain her magnificence at any time. Mother greeted Delphine warmly, hugging and kissing her on the cheek. Sally was also pleased to see her and admired the way she appeared and commented on it several times. I was pleased with the sincerity, with the fact that they had taken it as part of a family. Delphine had won their hearts. I knew she was aware of it, and that pleased her very much. So once Delphine and you got married, Delphine was with your mother a long time.
Oh yeah, Delphine till Martin, yeah.
They became great friends.
Yeah.
And what would Delphine take her shopping, your mother shopping?
Yeah, well, after Delphine learned to drive, yeah.
She liked to drive?
I know my mother did. Delphine drove
Did
my
you
mother all over there.
Did you teach Delphine how to drive?
Oh yeah.
How'd she learn? Pretty quickly?
After she gone to gears for a while, yeah, she did good.
Grinding gears. After church, we had a small lunch. Delphine helped with the dishes, and then we went upstairs. We sat on the couch in the living room and then began discussing what she would do after I went to work. She only remarked that we would keep my mother company and put up the kitchen curtains she had purchased. She stated in a relaxed manner as if she had been here many times before. I felt more at ease with her demeanor and knew that she would just fine when I was away. Who put up the curtains?
Delphine and my mother.
They had the ladder and the tools?
Yeah, Delphine climbed the ladder. Well, she only went up 2 steps.
Was your mother good with tools?
My mother good with tools? No.
Was your father good with tools?
Father was, yeah, he was good, yeah.
What work did your father primarily do?
What my father did?
Yeah, what type of work did he primarily?
He's a mason, cement work.
Who taught him that?
Picked it up himself
Where was your father's father?
in Russia.
Did you go and visit him?
In Russia?
Yeah.
No, never. I've never been in Russia, no.
Since your father made it as an immigrant to the United States, did your father ever visit his father once again?
No,
Never. And where was your mother's mother and father?
in Poland.
Did your mother ever go back there to
No,
visit?
never went back. Never went back, and they never came here.
Did she get notice upon their death?
No,
No. Okay,
just separated.
I understand. We walked about the apartment trying to visualize how we would spend our first day here, how much of a change it would be from what we were used to, and it would be a change much more for Delphine than me. We finally went downstairs and Mother was alone in the living room, crocheting in her favorite chair. Did your mother crochet a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Do you still have her Afghans?
Yeah.
Okay. Sally had gone out and Lookie left after he got up. Where'd Lookie go?
Who knows?
He's always on the go, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got his buddies. Steigenberg, Mickey Alzo.
Did you ever hang out with them?
No.
Why not?
Huh?
Why didn't you hang out?
I just didn't jam with him on it.
Okay. Delphine was curious to see what Mother was doing, so she knelt down beside her and watched her as she moved the needles in and out of the patchwork quilt she was working on. Did Delphine ever take up crocheting?
No.
Had no interest?
No.
Mother was pleased with her attentiveness, and I sat on the couch across from the room, listening to what they were saying and the way they interacted with one another. Minutes, please. Delphine had removed her shoes, and her legs were angled sideways as she sat on the floor next to Mother's chair.
7.
Okay. She peered in my direction occasionally and smiled, then diverted her attention back to Mother crocheting. Mother was enjoying her company, the attention Delphine was displaying toward her. The thought flashed through my mind of how soon she would take advantage of Delphine's good nature and attitude. This was always foremost in my mind. I did not want anyone to hurt Delphine intentionally or otherwise. I felt deeply responsible for her welfare and peace of mind, and I did not want anyone jeopardizing it or hurting her in any way. But long story short, they got along great,
Oh, yeah.
and there was no problems.
No problem.
Besides your mother, did you know anyone else that crocheted?
Anyone else that crocheted? Aunt Bernice did, Aunt Sophie did,
Uh-huh.
but they crocheted on the sport stuff that they did to my mother.
Aunt Bernice and Aunt Sophie your mother's sisters?
Yeah.
They were both your mother's sisters?
Yeah. Well, Uncle Johnny and Uncle Andy were brothers.
I see.
Brothers married sisters.
And they all came from Poland, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did they leave any brothers or sisters in Poland?
I don't know.
Did any of your uncles and aunts have a dog?
Have a dog? Uncle Andy had a dog, yeah.
What kind of dog did he have?
Had a Hungarian Velslav.
Okay. Who lived longer, Uncle Johnny or Uncle Andy?
What?
Who lived longest, Uncle Andy or Uncle Johnny?
Uncle Andy.
I see.
Uncle Andy got killed in a motorcycle accident.
Oh boy. Yeah. Were they all retired at that time?
Huh?
Were they retired?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Were they both Catholic, attending Mass with your mother?
Oh, yeah. They were all Catholics, yeah.
Well, that's a good sign.
Oh, they went to church every Sunday with them.
Yeah. The old,
The midnight mass and all that stuff.
yeah. The old saying we had in all our Catholic schools, there's only two type of people. Those who are Catholic and those who want to be Catholics. But there was no atheist in a foxhole, was there?
No, no.
No atheist in a foxhole. You start their praying those prayers when you got those bullets popping over your head. That's for damn sure. Minutes, please.
Four.
When you got shot up during the war, how'd your mother find out?
Telegram.
Western Union?
Yeah, we're originally reformed. Her son was slightly injured in combat.
They used the term slightly,
Huh? They put slightly, yeah.
even though you had a sniper's bullet through your shoulder?
Oh, yeah. Well, they put those telegrams not to alarm the people.
Not loud.
They just tell them he got hurt. That's it.
So from the time you got shot and bombed, how many weeks or months or day was it before you had a chance to talk to your mother?
Personally,
Yeah, on the phone.
oh, probably 2 or 3 weeks.
So, and then when you called home, did she answer the phone or did
She answered the phone and then she started crying.
Okay. And then but normally your mother would be working, so you'd have a hard time finding her, right?
Fine, what?
Your mother would be usually working at Carborundum. And
Oh no, she worked at SS Crescas for a while before she got to Carver.
So you caught her home?
My father got a job at Carver.
so you caught her at home,
Yeah,
and was that during the daytime or an evening?
I called probably 3 in the afternoon.
I see. And do you remember how the conversation went?
To my mother,
Yeah.
how you doing, Mom? She said, well, he said, when are you gonna go home and get start busy cleaning this place up? You haven't done any work here. You haven't done any work here. Everything's
He's
going
in the middle
ahead.
of the war.
She hears bombs going off in the background, and she says, she just didn't understand how much trouble you're in, right?
No,
She didn't understand how
There's a
dead.
world war going on.
I sent a big mail every day to her, and then that stupid Sally threw them off, burned them up. I had
would-
150 emails in that trunk and she burned them up.
Who would steal someone's V-mails? That is
And
so
why
sad.
would she burn them up?
I would love to see those V-mails.
Oh, yeah.
I'd read every one of them right
Oh,
here.
yeah, that'd be history.
I'd read every one of them right here.
Yeah.
Now, we just guess what they said. So you kidding me? So you finally got a hold of her, she started crying, and after she wiped her tears, she said what?
She said, get home and start working.
And how many months was it from that conversation did you get home?
About a month.
About a month?
Yeah, I had points to get out of them. I had
You had points
Yeah.
because you were shot.
No, I got points to get up, to get relieved.
Did you ever wear a bayonet on your rifle?
No, no.
Were you in ever hand-to-hand combat?
Once.
Tell us about it.
Well, we were on a culvert, and we were getting the air raid shelters and everything else coming down on us. And I met up a young guy just like me, he was a German. And he smiled at me and I smiled at him. He turned around, walked away, and he knew I wouldn't shoot him.
Yeah. So he had a drop on you.
Yeah.
He didn't kill you. He turned around, smiled.
Well, I was lucky he was younger than me. If he was an SS, they shot me right there.
SS would have blew your head off. So he turned around, smiled at you first, turned around, he had his back to you, knowing damn well
He knew
that
I wouldn't shoot him.
you knew damn well you weren't going to put a bullet in him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a beautiful minutes.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
That's beautiful. Do you still remember what his face looks like?
Oh yeah, he was a young kid.
Young kid. Well, I hope he had a nice life. I hope that young kid had a nice
Well, we
life.
don't know. We don't know.
We don't know,
He probably
but
got a lot of action after that. too.
Yeah.
We don't know where he wound up at.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. Seconds.
Yeah, about 10.
Wow.
I guess we'll pick the rest of this.
So that's still in your memory.
Yeah.
Huh?
That boy's face is still in your memory.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
young little guy.